Standard & Poor's rating upgrade of the Philippines to investment grade is the second after Fitch released its findings late in March, a boost to sustain economic growth for 2013. Today, the National Competitiveness Council hosted the Ease of Doing Business Summit, which gives focus in addressing concerns which hamper the country's competitiveness in sustaining growth. Joining us tonight via phone patch on NewsLife is Mr. Bill Luz, the Co-Chairperson of the Competitiveness Council. Good evening, sir, and welcome to NewsLife.
Good evening.
Sir, first of all, what is the reaction of the private sector to the Standard & Poor's rating upgrade of the Philippines to the investment grade?
Well, of course, we're happy with the upgrade. It's the second upgrade for the year, and I think it's in the way the Philippines is being managed, both from an economic point of view and a governance point of view.
How do you think does it reflect on the leadership of President Aquino in managing the country's economy?
Well, you know, ratings agencies, like competitive rankings agencies, keep a close watch on the variety of factors for the Philippines. In the case of ratings agencies, they look at, of course, all our economic data and at the way the country is managed economically. But obviously, they're also looking at the way the country is managed from a governance, public governance model. I think what the ratings agencies are saying is that they're happy with what they see and are giving the country the ratings upgrades.
So earlier you had the Ease of Doing Business Summit. How will this complement the government's efforts to make the Philippines more competitive and business-friendly to attract more foreign investment?
Well, our work at the National Competitiveness Council is really quite simple, quite clear. Where our job is to improve the competitiveness of the country, and as we improve competitiveness, we make the country more attractive for investments, for trade, for attracting people to visit the country, for creating jobs, for improving the image of the country even. So we work on all those fronts to try to improve the country. Today's Ease of Doing Business Summit focused on just the process of doing business. These are all the government transactions that a business must go through from start to finish of a business, and everything in between, what we call the life cycle of a business. And as we improve those processes and make them easier for a businessman to deal with, then the country becomes more competitive and more attractive to do business in. So today was a culmination of an important phase. It's not the end of all our work. It's just a midpoint, if you want to call it that, of the work that we started last year.
Yes, sir. You mentioned about processes in doing business. Do you think the processes have improved in the past years?
Well, unfortunately, it's not what the data is showing us. If you take a look at the global ranking of the Philippines, our ranking has stood still and dropped a little bit, in fact, over the last 3 years. So there's an indication that whatever we're doing is not enough. Now, it doesn't mean that there's no progress, but it's just that the progress is slow compared to countries. If other countries are moving faster, then the Philippines is either going to stand still or fall relative to other countries. So whatever it is we're doing, we have to do it faster than the other countries. So today was all about picking up the pace, picking up the focus, and streamlining. We need to make the process faster by eliminating steps, cutting the number of days or hours to do things. We have to make this business-friendly, user-friendly process.
Yeah, sir. Now let's talk about red tape. How badly do you think it is it affecting our business processes?
Well, absolutely, red tape.
Hello, sir.
It chokes business processes. There are any number of permits, licenses, payments, transactions that a business must go through different government agencies. They all have to move faster, simpler. They have to be more transparent. They have to, just as I say, be more business friendly. So if you take a look at a process that, let's say you want to start a business from scratch, as an entrepreneur or as a corporation, you want to incorporate a new company. In the Philippines, it takes a minimum of 16 steps and 36 days to do that. If I were to take a look at another country, say Singapore, that can be done maximum 3 days, but more often than not, they can do it in a day. So Obviously, there's a long way from 36 days down to 3 days or to a day, but we do have to take a look at what are they doing, and we have to emulate what they're doing and try to beat that. So our job is to take a look at the processes. Which ones do we eliminate? Which ones can we streamline? Which ones can we make faster? But we have to cut it down, not from 36 days to 30 days, but we've got to cut it from 36 days to below 10 days. So the new target for this year is to down from 36 days to first down to 10 days, and then eventually take it down to 6 days, and take it down to 3 days, and then down to 1 day. We have to think out of the box and be very radical about the solutions we make, because that's what businesses expect. If you want to attract investors, both local or foreign, then we have to make the process cleaner, simpler, and easier to deal with.
That's true, sir. And going back to what you mentioned earlier, that the success of our economy is really an interplay of different factors. What other issues do you think should the country work on?
Well, aside from the processes, which we want to make, business friendly, obviously people look at other things. They look at infrastructure. There's got to be a certain quality of infrastructure. Whether we're talking airports, ports, roads, rail, they all have to be up to a world-class standard. Be able to move people around quickly, be able to move cargo around quickly and cheaply. So it's a very huge factor. We have to take a look at our educational system, that we're educating the right type of people and training them for the available jobs. That means you have to give people the right skills for the jobs in the market, not only now, but well into the future. So we have to look at the whole educational space very closely. Technology, innovation, science, engineering, those are all important things that we need to look at. And then even things like justice, the way our court systems work. Are they fast? Are they fair? Are they consistent? Just look at that as well. So there's really a wide range of factors. At any given time, these competitiveness rankings have maybe 10, 12 broad categories, and from there they can break it out into maybe 100 to 115 different subject matter that we need to look at one by one. Where do we compare with the rest of the world? And we've got to move it up and step up our ratings and our rankings on each and every one of those indicators.
Yes, sir. And if the processes granted are put into place, do you think this will be institutionalized to ensure that the next administration will be able to continue and sustain them to maintain growth for the long haul?
They absolutely have to be institutionalized. These are not temporary fixes that we look at. So the requirement we make of every agency we work with and local government is that these are institutionalized as a department order or administrative order or executive order or a circular memorandum from that department or agency. And for cities, they must be a city or a municipal ordinance. And where they require congressional amendment, we have to go to Congress and ask for the amendment, because this has to be institutionalized in the law and in the regulation. It's got to be a formal practice, not something that is a temporary shortcut. They never work. Temporary shortcuts are not going to do the job.
All right, and on that note, thank you very much, Mr. Bill Luz, Co-Chairperson of the National Competitiveness Council.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.